What's up, guys? 20.5 has been released. It's an awesome test. Some people like it, some people don't. Here's a few tips. Hopefully that'll help you either get your first muscle up or get you the best tie break time possible. So Dave Castro decided to make this entire open, hard to run for any Friday Night Lights for anybody, but I am happy for the long tests. People get good tests here and we know what we need to work on. 20.5 is 40 muscle ups, 80 calories on the rower, and 120 wall ball shots for time. It's on a 20-minute cap and you can partition it any way that you like, meaning that you could do the 80 calorie row and the 120 wall balls and then spend the remaining time of the 20 minutes working on the muscle ups, or you could break it into 10, 20, 30, whatever you want to do in order to get to that point, or whatever you're capable of doing, they're allowing you to do that. I believe the time cap or the tiebreaker is the time that you finish the calorie row and the wall balls. So we'll talk about a couple strategy for those that maybe don't have muscle ups yet, or maybe do have muscle ups but not very good, or whatever, where their row is basically going to be their workout's going to basically be the rowing and the wall balls. My first tip here is really just to warm up well. If you have muscle ups, if you're pretty good at muscle ups, this is a 15-minute workout, right? So we want to get nice and hot beforehand, get a good sweat going, and really stretch out the quads and stretch out the shoulders, make sure that everything's prepped up top. If we are not doing muscle ups and we're a decent wall baller and a decent rower, this is like a 10-minute workout. Okay, so you're gonna have to get really hot and get that heart rate up real high, because from 3, 2, 1, go, you're gonna be getting after it. So make sure that the warm-up that you choose to do allows you to get the best score that you can. So the first thing that I'm gonna start on is the wall balls. It's 120 of them. I do think that it is gonna be kind of the get your heart rate up, get you breathing part of the workout. So you need to make sure that you're doing sets that you can handle. You should know by now, hopefully, that your gym does wall balls, every other week or so. So you know what set of wall balls allows you to stay moving but not completely gas you out. For me, there's basically just one trick on the wall balls, right? Don't let your arms fatigue. So as you throw the ball, let your arms come back down to your sides or bring them back to your chest. Don't leave them hanging up in the air. If they're hanging up in the air, you're gonna have a harder time recovering those shoulders. So my biggest tip is let your arms fall and try to catch it into there. If you can use your legs, right, without jumping, that's major key as well. We don't wanna overexert ourselves through the wall balls, because you're gonna be doing the most sets of that, and that's where the highest reps come in. On the rower, it depends on what you're trying to do. Everybody needs to have the goal of getting a calorie a stroke. I believe like 1,200, 1,100 calories per hour will get you two calories every 3 strokes, which is a pretty good pace, right? Just depends on your strokes per minute, which will determine how fast it actually takes you. I don't think anybody should go into it like, I'm gonna do 80 calories in a row. I think we should break it up, at the very least, like 4 sets of 20 and 30. If you're trying to do just the wall balls and the rowing, then your rowing is going to be a little more intense than somebody who's trying to complete the entire workout, because we do want to save it as much as possible. Try to lengthen that stroke, reach in without losing too much posture, and really drive through the legs. Don't use your arms until the very last minute. Again, the arms are being used in the muscle up dip and in the pressing on the wall ball, so we want to save those arms for as long as possible. On the muscle up. The muscle up is where one muscle up will place you hundreds of thousands of places, maybe not that much, but tens of thousands of places, and then 2 muscle ups, 3 muscle ups. So the more muscle ups you get, obviously, the better your score is going to be. If you're capable of finishing the muscle ups, here's how I'm going to break this workout up. I'm going to 3, 2, 1, go and start on the rower. Okay, I'm going to probably row 20 calories at a decent pace, nothing crazy, but I am going to kind of push it to get my heart rate going. And then I'm going to do 4 sets of muscle ups and wall balls. I'll set it up to where I'm right by my rings, so as soon as the ball hits the ground, I'm jumping up there, and as soon as my feet are hitting the ground from the muscle ups, I'm back on the wall balls. I'll get back on the rower and row 30-ish calories just to try to get my heart rate under control and give my arms a little bit of a break. Go back through another 4 sets of muscle ups and wall balls with quick transitions, and then sprint the last bit of calories, whatever's left. I think that that's the best strategy for me, because that little rowing break in the middle will allow me to really be able to recover, but the small sets of muscle ups and wall balls will also allow me to do them unbroken. And if I set it up right, there's really not a whole lot of transition time. For someone that is okay at muscle ups, let's say like in 10 minutes you could do 10 plus muscle ups, then your workout's a little bit different. You have to strategize a little bit better. You gotta maybe do one muscle up, some rowing, wall balls, one muscle up, rowing, wall balls, because at the same time you still have the same tiebreaker as everybody else. But what you don't want to do is go through the whole workout and then hope that you have muscle ups left after doing 80 calories and 120 wall balls. You want to kind of sprinkle those muscle ups throughout the workout, because again, one muscle up is going to change the whole workout for you. For those that are just working on muscle ups and you've never got one, then maybe you spend the first 5 minutes trying to get a muscle up. If you don't get it, get on the rower and go, right? If you've never got a muscle up before, then you do the rowing and the wall balls completely, and then at the end just swing around on the rings and hope to God that you get over the rings. So there's different strategies. It's really up to you, but again, if you're able to complete it, you have to sprinkle that row in there as your recovery between your muscle up and wall ball sets. If you have muscle ups but they're not, you know, super good, then you just do one every couple sets. You just sprinkle them in there. And then if you've never done muscle ups before, if you've never got one, then you do the entire other part of the workout, spend the remaining time trying to get a muscle up. Look, wall ball tips, rowing tips, you can find them everywhere. Here's how I suggest and how I tell people to get their first muscle up. It's kind of cheesy, but it works and it's legal. First, you have to know how to do the false grip. False grip's a tool, it's a gymnastics tool that allows you to have an easier transition from the hanging position below the rings to the dip position on top of the ring. Once you have that, you're gonna hang from the rings. You gotta show full lockout, right? You gotta have the elbows locked out, everything's locked out, hanging below the rings. Once you do that, I want you to bend your elbows and kind of pull your chest to the rings. Not all the way, but you got to be able to do somewhat of a pull-up. You're going to pull your chest to the rings, and then you're just going to kind of do a very simple knee swing back, tuck your knees up to your chest, and try to extend your hips to pull yourself the extra 3 inches. That false grip will allow you to have a quick transition over that, and you never know, that may get you your first muscle up. Play around with it. It's cheesy, it doesn't look good, and many people will say that that doesn't count, but it does. So just get up there, give that a shot. If you've been practicing muscle ups, you've been practicing the kip swing and staying nice and tight, one big tip is find short straps. If you're in a gym where you have these long straps, well, I'm sorry, it's going to be even harder to get your first muscle up because you have to try to control those big straps. So if your gym has short straps, you're in luck. You're going to be having a little bit easier time to get that first muscle up. Other than that, there's really not too many more tips on the muscle ups if you haven't been working on them. You can get up there and swing, you can try to do whatever you need to do, but the key to a good muscle up is practice, right? You have to know when to pull your hips up, you have to know when to turn over, you have to know when to finish and how to kip out. It's a lot of moving parts in a very short time, and it takes practice to get there. So unfortunately, the only tip that I have for you to be able to try to get your first muscle up is the cheesy muscle up, and I hope it works for you. I hope this is a good finish. 20.5 is a good test. It's something different than we've ever had before, so I really hope that it goes well for everybody. Good luck, and comment below. Tell me how you did.